The old phone inside the school's radio booth had been completely disconnected from the wall for many years. The cord didn't even reach the wall. So when it rang at exactly 11:47 p.m., 16-year-old Marino Yuki should not have been able to answer it. She did. Logic dictated the hardware was dead. Yet, sitting alone in the dark, she held a live receiver. Against all laws of physics, a connection had been forced open. Up until that night, Yuki hosted a late-night school radio show that nobody listened to. Then came the voice, a boy, warm and teasing, telling her, "You're funny when you think you're alone." He never gave his name, but he became her sole audience, calling every single night at 11:47. Soon, small things failed to add up. He routinely requested what he called brand new songs, tracks that had actually been released 10 years ago. Then there was the weather. Through the receiver, she could hear the heavy hiss of rain on nights when her own sky outside was completely dry and full of stars. The clues were impossible to ignore. A decade-old song, an impossible storm. Yuki was listening to the voice of someone existing entirely outside her own time. One evening, the boy casually mentioned his little sister. She was 6 years old, and he had just spent the afternoon sticking glow-in-the-dark stars to her bedroom ceiling. Smiling, Yuki asked for the little girl's name. After a brief pause, the boy answered, "Yuki, Morino Yuki." In the school library, she found the old newspaper. The article was dated 10 years ago, May 21st. It detailed a tragedy at the local railway crossing involving a 17-year-old boy, her older brother. She checked the calendar on her own phone. The date read May 18th. Yuki was talking to a dead man. She had 3 calls left to convince him to choose a different path and avoid the crossing on the 21st. Pacing slows down. The next night, his voice grew quiet. He told her, "Before I found your frequency, I was having a bad year. Like if I quietly disappeared, no one would notice the seam." Her fingers went white around the cord. "I'd notice," she said. "You hear me? I would notice." She pleaded with him to alter his travel route. He made her a promise that night. On the 21st, he would take the long way home, away from the crossing. On the final night, she broke the unspoken rule. She told him everything, who she was, and exactly what tomorrow's date meant. He was quiet for a long time. Then very softly he replied, "Nobody laughs the way my sister does." I think I knew by the 3rd night. Across the line, the static rose like a storm. A train horn sounded closer than ever before, and his final words broke apart inside it. "Thank you for talking to me, Yuki." The line died at exactly 11:47. The red lamp died. In the sudden dark, Yuki was left with the silence of the room, wondering if the words she'd shouted into the past had been enough to save him. Morning came. Outside, the present-day world looked identical. Nothing had changed. But that day, her mother finally opened a door that had stayed shut for 10 years. She handed Yuki a tin box containing a cassette labeled "For Yuki." Tucked alongside the tape was a newspaper clipping no one had ever shown her. The headline read, "High school boy saves girl, pushing her clear of the tracks." He had kept his promise to take the long way home. By altering his route, he arrived at a different crossing at the exact moment a stranger needed him. The boy who had once felt invisible died a hero, putting himself in the path of a train to save someone else. She pressed play on the cassette, recorded on the morning of his last day. His voice captured the change. The invisibility he felt for a year had vanished, replaced by a sense of purpose. "Live loud," he told her. "I'll be listening." Standing in the doorway was her teacher, the calm, quiet woman who, for a decade, had stubbornly refused to let the dying radio club be shut down. 10 years ago, the teacher said, my bicycle wheel jammed in the rails. The barrier was already down. He was taking the long way, and he still made it in time. I never knew who to thank. She looked at the red lamp. Now I know. That night, Yuki went back on the air, under her real name, for the first time. She spoke directly into the microphone. This broadcast is for one listener, and for anyone out there who thinks nobody can hear them. I'm listening. Talk to me. Later, in the silence after the broadcast, the old phone rang once. The clock read 11:47. She turned around and smiled. A voice calling into the dark had changed the course of two lives, a teacher who lived and a sister who finally found the brother she thought she'd lost.